Story 1. Night of Terror at Abandoned Motel in the Dead of Night. It was a night like no other, the kind that sends shivers down your spine and makes your heart race with fear. The abandoned motel stood in the darkness, its broken windows casting eerie shadows on the overgrown weeds that surrounded the decaying building. I found myself there, drawn by a morbid curiosity that I now deeply regret. As I cautiously stepped inside, the musty smell of decay filled my nostrils, and the sound of my own footsteps echoed through the empty halls. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, as if the walls themselves held the memories of unspeakable horrors. I wandered further into the motel, my heart pounding in my chest, when suddenly I heard voices in the distance. Whispers, barely audible, but filled with malice and intent. I froze in place, my breath catching in my throat as the voices drew closer. Peering around a corner, I saw them, a group of strangers, their faces obscured by shadows, moving with purpose towards me. Panic gripped me as I realized I was not alone in this forsaken place, and these strangers were no ordinary wanderers of the night. They were a gang, notorious for their ruthless ways and violent encounters with unsuspecting victims. My mind raced with fear as I tried to find a way to escape, but the gang was closing in, their eyes gleaming with a primal hunger that sent chills down my spine. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my ears, as the gang surrounded me, their menacing presence suffocating any hope of survival. In that moment of pure terror, I knew I was facing my own mortality, trapped in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. But just as I braced myself for the inevitable, a sudden commotion broke out among the gang members. Shouts and curses filled the air, and in the chaos, I saw my chance to flee. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I ran as if my life depended on it, the sounds of pursuit echoing behind me. I burst out of the motel, gasping for breath, my heart still racing with the terror of what I had just experienced. As I looked back at the abandoned building, I knew that night would forever haunt my dreams, a reminder of the primal fear that lurks within the shadows of the human soul. Anonymous Spectator Story. Story 2. Chilling Encounter at the Abandoned Asylum, The Vengeful Spirits. As I stepped through the rusted gates of the abandoned asylum, a shiver ran down my spine. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the once imposing building loomed before me like a silent sentinel of forgotten horrors. I had heard whispers of the vengeful spirits that roamed these halls, seeking retribution for the sins of the past. But curiosity drove me forward, deeper into the heart of darkness. The asylum's corridors were a labyrinth of peeling paint and crumbling walls, echoing with the whispers of the lost souls trapped within. I could feel their eyes upon me, cold and accusing, as I navigated the maze-like passages. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, and a sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. I stumbled upon a room bathed in an eerie light, the air heavy with the scent of decay. In the center of the room, a figure stood, its features obscured by shadows. A voice, hollow and filled with malice, echoed through the chamber, recounting tales of suffering and betrayal. I felt a chill grip my heart as the figure turned towards me, its eyes burning with a vengeful fire. I tried to flee, but invisible hands held me in place, their touch like ice against my skin. The figure drew closer, its presence suffocating, as memories of past atrocities flooded my mind. I saw visions of madness and despair, of lives cut short and souls twisted by agony. The vengeful spirits hungered for justice, and I was their unwitting prey. As the figure reached out to claim me, A blinding light filled the room, banishing the shadows and revealing the truth hidden in the darkness. I saw the faces of the asylum's former inhabitants, twisted by pain and rage, their eyes pleading for release. In that moment of revelation, I understood the depth of their suffering and the weight of their unfulfilled vengeance. With a final anguished wail, the vengeful spirits faded into the ether, their restless souls finally finding peace. I was left alone in the empty room, the echoes of their torment ringing in my ears. The asylum's walls seemed to sigh in relief, as if grateful for the closure that had been granted. I stumbled out of the asylum, my mind reeling from the horrors I had witnessed. The encounter had unleashed a primal fear within me, a fear of the darkness that lurks within us all. And as I looked back at the abandoned asylum, I knew that some secrets are better left undisturbed, lest they awaken the vengeful spirits that dwell within us. Anonymous Spectator Story. Story 3. Diabolic Encounter in an Abandoned Mine, The Survivor's Tale. My name is Emily, and I am here to share with you the harrowing experience that changed my life forever. It all began when I joined a group of strangers on a hiking trip, led by a charismatic man named Jacob. Little did I know that this journey would lead us to a place of unspeakable horror, an abandoned mine with a sinister past. As we ventured deeper into the mine, the air grew thick with a sense of foreboding. Jacob, with his silver tongue and commanding presence, urged us to keep moving forward, promising us a hidden treasure at the heart of the mine. Despite the unease creeping into my bones, I followed, unable to resist his persuasive words. The tunnels twisted and turned, leading us into a labyrinth of darkness. Shadows danced on the walls, and whispers echoed in the stale air. I could feel the primal fear gripping my heart, a sense of impending doom that refused to be ignored. It was then that we stumbled upon a chamber unlike any other. The walls were adorned with symbols I could not recognize, and the air was heavy with the stench of decay. Jacob's eyes gleamed with a manic fervor as he revealed his true intentions. He was not a guide, but a leader of a cult that worshipped dark forces lurking within the mine. Panic surged through me as I realized the danger we were in, trapped deep underground with a madman and his devoted followers. The other hikers, once strangers, now seemed like pawns in a twisted game orchestrated by Jacob and his malevolent beliefs. As the hours stretched into eternity, fear consumed us, feeding off our desperation and confusion. But amidst the terror, a spark of defiance ignited within me. I knew that I had to fight back, to resist the manipulation of this diabolic cult leader and escape the clutches of the mine. With trembling hands and a racing heart, I banded together with the other survivors, united in our will to survive. Together, we confronted Jacob and his followers, facing our deepest fears and darkest truths in a final showdown that would determine our fates. In the end, justice prevailed, and we emerged from the depths of the mine, battered but alive. Jacob's reign of terror was over, his cult dismantled, and we, the survivors, bore witness to the power of resilience in the face of unspeakable evil. As I stand here now, recounting the horrors we endured, I carry with me the scars of that fateful encounter. But I also carry a sense of pride, knowing that we defied the odds and emerged victorious against all odds. The mine may hold secrets best left buried, but our story will serve as a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of darkness. Anonymous Spectator Story.